I only have one thing to say.
We are Ham Radio.
Next on Live Free and Ham. All right, hello and welcome to the Live Free and Ham podcast. This is our weekly show where we discuss ham radio topics in New Hampshire, New England, and beyond. And we're thrilled to have you here, whether you're a regular listener or tuning in for the first time. And thanks again for joining us on this episode tonight. It's going to be a good one, so stay tuned. So, as we always do, let's get in the show. I'm your host, Eric, call sign N1JUR, and I'm with my co-hosts.
Hey, it's Paul, N1OG, the Grouch.
W1STJ, Todd.
And we got a special guest tonight.
Freddie Mack, KD5 FMU from Henrietta, Oklahoma.
And between you and K5 YVY voice, we should just put them head to head and see which one turns me on the most.
Oh, Joe Brett's a clear winner there. Clear
Maybe. I don't know, man. You got that nice little like chocolatey tone to kind of your voice. That kind of just goes down, you know.
Yeah, he can hit some levels that I can't go down to.
Okay, well, I won't ask him. All right. I won't challenge you guys to that. So I don't know where to go with that. But before we usually get into a topic, we got a few things we want to catch up on, as always. You can head over to our storefront at livefreeandham.com/shop. Check out all our great merch and other stuff that's going on over there. You can pick up some bacon hammies if you haven't already. And we're always adding new shirts to the store. I'm finally getting back into the swing of things here. So those new shirts that we've been mentioning before will start to show up in the store. So pay attention to that and definitely head over to our Discord. I guess we'll make announcements over there too as well. If you want to connect with our community, you can do that in several ways. Obviously, every month we do a live stream. And those are something you definitely don't want to miss. They bounce around every month. So the only way you can really know when we're going live is to make sure you're a subscriber and you hit that notification bell. And that way you'll get notified when we do. And at the same time, you can also participate, and we love it. But this week we're a little short on it. You can always send us an email. You can SMS text us, or you can do our favorite option is leave us a voicemail at 978-233-1142. And all those links are down in the bottom of our show notes. All right. So, and if you want to support the show, like we always say, you can become a Patreon member, and there's a ton of stuff that you get. You obviously can be part of our private live stream that we record every week and every episode. And we always thank our new Patreon members. They're always adding to our ranks, and we appreciate all you guys supporting the show and being part of the community because it is truly a blessing. And at the same time, we're just super excited to have you on board. And as always, our favorite, you can
join for as little as $3 a month. It's not a big expense.
Yeah, that is true, Bob. You can't. And when you're ready to record, we will be glad to, record a better PSA message for us as well. So, all right. Well, with that, we are very low on the mailbag and doing good segments. So if you feel so inclined and you're doing some great stuff with your clubs or friends or get together for meetups, share it with us. Let us know. We want to, promote that stuff. So feel free to send us an email via do a win link. You can do it via, our SMS. You can also send us via voicemail, and we'll be glad to, share that on our next episode. All right. So without further ado, then let's roll into our usual segment, which apparently, that keeps the numbers going.
It's everyone's favorite segment.
And now, a little something extra with Todd, W1STJ.
Still a general.
A brain. Now I know how you feel, Todd, because I literally went, did we just do things out of order again? Like I just had that moment where I was like, I'm following the script here, and I'm like, it just feels weird. So anyway,
yeah, it feels like it shouldn't come right away, but I guess.
But we've been doing it this way forever. I
guess.
So you've heard it here. Once we get our our wits about us, and we take our our non-stupid pills, we're here to help Todd study for his extra class license. And so each episode we pick 3 questions. From our typical extra class question pool, test his knowledge and hope he gets his upgrade. We obviously have a special guest here tonight. So, Freddie, you're free to join in, obviously, on these questions. Or you could just sit back and, heckle Todd all you want. Totally up to you. And we'll leave that to your discretion and your choosing. But if you want to follow along, you can head over to hamstudy.org, which is an awesome resource to help you prepare for your test. And is recommended by 4 out of 4 VEs because, they know hamstudy.org is the place to go. So without further delay, hand it over to our quizmaster as always. N1OG, take it away.
Right, Todd. Tonight's question number 1 comes from sub-element number 8. The question is, what is the modulation index of an FM signal? Is it A, the ratio of frequency deviation to modulating signal frequency? B, the modulating signal frequency divided by the bandwidth of the transmitted signal? C, the bandwidth of the transmitted signal divided by the modulating signal frequency? Or is it D, the ratio of modulating signal amplitude to frequency deviation?
I'm going to go with D.
Oh, man. I don't know. A B sounds to stick out for me.
I'm going with C, Paul.
Ooh. Paul, just pick A.
All right. Well, Todd said D. And D is incorrect.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Eric said B. B is also incorrect.
Freddie Mack.
And Freddie Mack said C. And C is also incorrect.
Wow, a trifecta, my friend.
All right, I feel so stupid now.
So the correct answer is A, the ratio of frequency deviation to modulating signal frequency.
Wow.
So for a little further explanation, FM, or frequency modulation, is the encoding of information in a carrier by varying the instantaneous frequency of the carrier wave. But then the question is, by how much does the instantaneous frequency vary? The modulation index indicates how much the modulated frequency varies around the unmodulated carrier frequency. Another way to think of it is, how much will the frequency vary when you compare it to full silence, aka an unmodulated carrier, to transmitting a loud tone? Or the way the test prefers to describe it, the ratio of frequency deviation to the modulating signal frequency. For the sake of remembering, just remember that this is a comparison between frequencies, not a comparison of frequency to amplitude. And I won't bore you with the sine waves and all the formulas.
Oh, boy.
All right. So everybody struck out on question number 1. So question number 2 should be a little easier. It's from sub-element number 2. The question is, how do ALE stations establish contact? Is it A, ALE radios send a constant tone code to establish a frequency for future use? B, ALE constantly scans a list of frequencies activating the radio when a designated call sign is received? C, ALE radios monitor an internet site for the frequency they are being paged on? Or is it D, ALE radios activate when they hear their signal echoed back by scatter?
I'm going to go with A.
I think it has to do with B.
What is ALE?
I think it's automatic linking.
Yeah, I'm going A or B, but I'm just going to go with A. Go with B, Eric.
So ALE stands for automatic link establishment.
Okay, I'm going to go with A.
All right, so we got 2 for A and 1 for B. and I will tell you A is not correct.
Damn it.
And yes, he will.
The correct answer
face.
is indeed B. Yes, the way that ALE functions is the software has a list of frequencies, and it will scan that list of frequencies, and it will activate when the designated call sign is received.
Well, that makes
That's more military stuff, isn't it?
yeah. I would think
It's
so.
very commonly used in the military, yes.
I feel like I'm going
So-
0 for 3.
Well,
Maybe if
we shall find out.
Come on, baby. Bring me 2 out of 3.
All right. Question number 3 for this evening comes from sub-element number 7. And the question is, what type of digital signal processing filter is used to generate an SSB signal? Is it A, a notch filter? B, an elliptical filter? C, a Hilbert transform filter? Or is it D, an adaptive filter? And you've had this multiple times.
Yeah, I know. God damn. I think it's a Hilbert. I think it's the Hilbert one because I know it's not a notch filter. It's
Yeah,
either
you're
an
right there.
adapt. What? It's either an
You're definitely right about
adaptive or a
notch.
Hilbert, but I
Notch.
think it's the name of the guy. That's how I'm gonna go with C.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're just going to go with C.
Ah, nice.
C for me, Paul. I'm just jumping on the bandwagon here.
Well, guess what? C is the correct answer.
Oh, I'm not a loser. I got 1 out of 3. No song tonight, boys.
Bring it on, baby. Bring it on. After you read that.
So, yes, for those that don't know or haven't seen an episode where we've aired this question, your hint is the word transforms. So single sideband modulation is an efficient form of amplitude modulation that uses half the bandwidth used by AM. This technique is most popular in applications such as telephony, ham radio, and HF communications, i.e. voice-based communications. And so, yeah, it is the Hilbert transform.
Nice.
I believe that, Mike, wholeheartedly.
Constellation is killing ham radio. I agree.
Over modulation.
yeah. That's totally cool.
All right. Well, with that, yeah, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Where's my song, my friend?
No.
I got it. Yes, it is, my friend. Yes, it is. I love that song. That's the only part of that song I like. But that's all of me saying I like that part. So, as we always say, you know, with your studying for your technician, your general, or extra class like Todd, then hamstudy.org is an awesome resource for getting your ticket. Hey, and maybe, you know, you did get your ticket recently, or maybe you upgraded. We'd want to know. Paul, any that you got in your mailbag over there?
Negative. I had the opportunity to sit in on a military session, and by the time I realized that it was time for the session, it had already gone by.
All right. No problem there. Can't win them all. But with that, you know, heck, maybe you got your technician general or extra class and you want to share it with us. We want to do the same. So email us at liftfreeandham@gmail.com or hit us up on the Discord or any of our other methods, SMS or our 978-233-1142 number. Let us know, and we'll be happy to share it on our next episode. All right. Now we can get back into the regular Ham Radio Week catch-up. So with usuals, we're going to start with Freddie Mack first, since he's our guest of honor tonight. How's your Ham Radio Week been?
It's actually been pretty good, honestly. What is today? Today is Saturday.
Sunday.
Sunday. Actually, I've had a pretty decent week. Most of it has been spent at work, but I've had a little time to work in the shack somewhat. But I got to go to Enid, Oklahoma Ham Fest yesterday. It's about a 2.5-hour drive for me, but it was totally worth it. Great bunch of folks up there, and I got to do a forum about what was the topic again?
Must be DMR, right?
I think it was single sideband. No, the Herbert guy. No, it was All Starlink version 3. Had a pretty good turnout too. Lots of fun.
Very
Good
cool.
folks up there.
So was it mostly just for due to the whole presentation, or did you go to do filming for the channel too?
I did a short live stream as well because I always like to do a good ham fest, and I don't always live stream at a ham fest, but I will do a walkthrough, nice walkthrough video of all the gear that was there for sale, and usually though, if I do a live stream like I did, I always get somebody hit me up, it's like, hey, buy that one for me, and I'll send you some money. Sure.
Yeah, I know that.
When I went back, it was gone. I don't know what happened, but no. I love to do a little walk around. I went up there mainly. I always have a table because I like to show off some of my homemade nodes. They're always up for sale. I haven't sold one yet. But it's like your kids, you don't want to really let them go. But it gives me the opportunity to educate those because I get a lot of questions, and a lot of those questions are, what is All Starlink? And I'm like, really?
I know. It's been a long, trust me. I don't know what it is. It's like sometimes just, it's like the oldest one in terms of like the technology that's been out there for a long time outside of Echolink maybe. But, most people are just like, I don't understand. What's All Star do? I'm like, you're missing out.
And I always start that conversation with, have you heard of Echolink? And they're like, yeah. And I said, well, think of it as being much better.
Well, that's actually a good segue because I always forget that last part, and then people just go, "Oh, Echolink."
Exactly. I get a lot of folks that do that, but I still get a lot of people who's like, "How do we set up Echolink on an All-Star node?" I'm like, "Okay, I got a video for that too."
I know. Is there? I think every base covered pretty much.
Not all of them, but I'm all the basics. All the basics, because there's the most questions are right there, especially for the new beginner into All Starlink. And I'm gradually elevating up to the more complicated stuff. And I think the most complicated one I've done is the auto patch video. And
I still do that.
Ironically enough, we do it with an IP line, a VoIP line.
Right.
And it's not like I'm not going to use it to make phone calls to just other people, but you can make phone calls to your node and do your DTMS to shut it down, reboot it, whatever.
Oh, wow.
It's basic stuff. And for like $10, I get like 4 months of service, 4 or 5 months. It lasts a good long time. It's VoIP.ms. VoIP.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Yep. And it's relatively cheap unless, the more minutes you use, if you use it quite a bit, it's going to go down a lot faster, but I don't use it that much. And I mainly got the subscription to do the video because a lot of people were very interested in the AutoLink side of ASL3. So mission accomplished.
Nice.
Yeah, if I remember right, I think incoming calls are free. They only deduct the outgoing calls.
I think you're right about that because it seemed like it was a one-sided charge. And it's so cheap and it's reliable. The sound's great.
Well, it's not commercial grade, and the likelihood that there's going to be a lot of people, wanting to use that service. It's like, I don't need another number.
Oh, yeah. And I got to give a shout out to Mason Nelson, N5 LSN. He's the guy that created Skywarn Plus. He created that for All Starlink. He created it for Ham VoIP and ASL3, but he also came up with that auto patch dialing plan to make the video. He and I ran through that because he wanted to test his settings. We made it all work, so I did a video on it, and it helps a lot of people out. So
that's
all
cool.
that matters.
I love moving the needle forward every time we get a chance to tweak something or make something better. Yeah, all for it.
Amen. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Russ, good to see you there. And then I didn't bring Mike. Thank you guys for joining the private chat there. Good to have you in there tonight. And cool. All right. Well, it sounds like that on top of all of your other house moving activities, squeezing some Ham Radio somewhere in there.
Yeah, everywhere I can. And I got to do a lot of it on the road yesterday,
awesome.
over my mobile node. So that was great. Always good. Always a good time.
Very cool. All right. Well, with that, over to the good old Grouch. How was your Ham Radio week, my friend?
Well, all right. So I guess I did do some ham radio because I took this crazy thing called an all-star node, and I put it in my truck, and I drove to Maine, and the whole time I called out, looking for somebody to answer me back, and well, nobody did, but I got it. And now it lives in the truck because, well, I'll wait to deal with Starlink, and maybe I'll make a new node for the RV, and that'll be specifically for Starlink. But otherwise, the only other ham radio stuff I did was I sold a whole bunch of ham radio gear today. My amplifier has a new home.
Oh, you found
as
it.
well as
Sweet.
Yeah, the gentleman that bought it really didn't want it. He kind of just wanted all of the other stuff, and I said, well, I'll make you a package deal. And so basically, what I did was I sold him the amplifier, my Diamond X50 antenna that was up on the roof, and a bunch of miscellaneous stuff I just kind of threw in there for free. And I said, there you go, thank you very much. Yeah, he took all my old Tech radios that I wasn't going to do anything with. And a bunch of old CBs that I had gotten off of Casey, actually. So those things all have a new home now, and I got a little bit of money in my pocket, so I can pay down some credit card debt.
Aim into that one.
Mm-hmm. Yep, a hobby will take control of those credit cards when you least expect it.
It's an evil thing, but it's there.
It is, yeah. Sadly, it makes the convenience and I need to have factor that much closer.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil. That's what we'll call it. As long as we keep it under control. It's tough.
Yes, sadly, we're not a credit card financial podcast here, so don't take our advice and move along.
Yeah, and we don't have any of the cool sponsorships, like PDS Debt and all that stuff yet. So we'll get there though.
And go, they're like, you're going to carry this amount of debt.
Hey, we have Reliance Antenna. They're our sponsor.
He is, but he's not debt.
Certainly, we carry our debt.
We probably put him in more debt than he wants to be, especially with all the free antennas he throws our way. So very cool. All right. Well, it sounds like a bummer on the All-Star stuff. I found out that my battery that I have in the truck, definitely needs a solar panel to keep consistently topped off. The 50 amp hour has now literally, has back on the 10 amp charger. Yeah, it's back on the 10 amp charger now, so it's recharging. I basically brought that thing down to nothing because the truck sat for a couple of days. So yeah, between the nice little hotspot and the All-Star node, it was draining it. So, but it lasted like 4 days. So at least I know I can go 4 days without, worrying about the battery. So solar panels are next. Cool. All right. Well, with that, over to you, Todd. How's your Ham Radio week been, my friend? You've been busy.
Yeah, let's see. I don't think I did. Did I do any activations this week?
I thought you did like one or two.
Oh, yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I did one. And then you did one to beat me, yeah. Yeah, I did one or two. Working the rail trail. Did all right. It was always good to be back doing the activations. And then I got my ClearNode a couple days early. They told me I'd get it by today at 9 o'clock, and I got it Saturday by 12:30 p.m. And my brother's in town from California kind of unexpectedly for a weekend. So I was trying to see him, trying to set that up, and finally I had to call my IT guy, N1JUR, and I said, how the hell does this app work? I'm like, it doesn't show anything. He goes, plug it into the Ethernet. And then it worked. And it just wasn't, even though I did it to be on the Wi-Fi, it wasn't programmed, even though I asked them to program it. So once I did that, it worked on the Ethernet, and made a contact to Chris in the UK and then Eric. So that was good. So it works. And I just put it in my radio in the car. So I'll be using it tomorrow, hopefully.
was it M0? It's his call sign's M0 NA.
FXB.
That's right. Yeah, correct. Yeah, Chris, great guy. He's always around and always fun to talk to for sure. I know he's busy tinkering with all of his. What's the equivalent to All-Star over in the UK? He always keeps mentioning it, and I keep forgetting what it's called.
Well, they have a HubNet, they call it, but it's over All-Star Link and Echolink, but I don't know if that's the one he's referring to.
Maybe. I know he sent me a link to it, and I bookmarked it a long time ago. I was going to go back and look at it.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, but yeah I don't recall
it's
it.
a little different than All-Star, but sort of around the same, kind of functionality with the
Freestar or something like that.
Yeah, you probably know, but yeah. I'm like, I just need to get All-Star under my belt first before I decide to dive into another network. I'm like, if you got All-Star connections, that's fine. Then I'll continue to talk to you that way.
Yeah, so that's my ham radio week. That's about it. But like I said, Eric and I are getting really close to the rail trail, getting the what do we call it? The kilo. So
kilo.
I've got what do I got to do? Like 51, I think, to be tied with you, and then we'll do a live stream and break it.
Well, let's see here.
You get all the good days. I get like the shit days, and then the next day he goes out. He's like, I'm working TX. I got Europe. I'm like, shit. I can't even get like Florida or Ohio.
I just want to point out that in the spring, we were taking bets on when this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And now here we are in the fall, and it still hasn't happened.
It could have happened. It's like we're taking our time.
I wanted to get it done a long time ago, but I know we both got busy
at work.
You've been very busy at work.
Yeah. And I was coaching 2 baseball teams, and it was hard to get out of.
Man, I took away that little, oh, wait a minute. I just still have it.
As soon as baseball ended, as soon as baseball, I started getting out there, right? Mm-hmm. So,
Dude, you're steering the ship back to the ham radio, island, and we're all looking forward to your return. So
I gotta go out to Portsmouth on Wednesday. So remember the last time I went out there, I didn't do the park that I wanted to. So I'll be doing that one. I'll probably do the rail trail either tomorrow or Tuesday. We'll see.
Well, you need 49, my friend. 49 and
49.
To get up to where I'm at. And then we can start our trek to the last 25 to get a dual kilo at the same time. We'll be live streaming that. So I'll just dive right in here. You don't even need the segue.
I was talking about
fingers, kick those to the curb, my friend. The bands have been freaking hot. I don't know about you, but like I've been watching, Discord and a whole bunch of other people saying 10 meters was crazy busy today, and 2 days ago, 20 and all the usual bands.
I'm gonna start on 10 next time on the rail trail. I've just been starting on 20 because everyone says it sucks, and they're the only ones I see on there, and I figured I can get on there, but I love 10. So if 10's opening, but the sun knows. It says, "Oh, Todd's going out to activate. Let's send a couple fucking flares at him." Oh, Todd's on the West Coast. We'll make it impossible for him to activate. Meanwhile, Eric's at the rail trail like, dude, I just got like 100. What are you talking about?
Yeah, don't make me hit the button.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
All right. Well, with that, I have to say Friday was one of those days I just got to like my end of my rope. Work was all done. And I'm like, you know what? I was sitting on the fence going, do I do a POTA? Do I not do a POTA? I looked at my watch. It was like 4:30. I said, F it. I'm getting in the car and grabbed one of wasn't the Rybakov. Matt gave me another, one of his end feds. I think it was his 80 through 10. And I'm like, I haven't even tuned this thing. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to throw up the mast. I'm going to fool around with, getting the antenna tuned up. And it was up in the air and on 20 in a matter of like, 10, 15 minutes. And then, I was like, maybe I'll be okay. And, I started getting little trickles. But then I got one guy out of Florida who was a park to park. And he picked me up he must have had polo because he picked me up. He's like, oh, you're a famous YouTuber. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm trying to talk him down from it. And literally from that point on, it was the fire hose. It was like, constantly like pile up after pile up after pile up and then a little break and then a pile up again.
We're gonna have to get the like 990, because it's going to take us 5 hours to get through your POTA. Oh, the famous YouTuber. Oh,
It'll go fast,
Eric,
man.
I love your channel.
Just get
Your
him in
live
line,
stream
bang
yesterday
him
was
off.
great.
I'll get him done
Meanwhile,
like this.
I'm bringing my fishing pole. I'll start fishing while you do
There
your
you go.
QSOs.
So bad, man. Not going to be that bad. I guarantee it.
Yeah, it was bad before you were famous.
Exactly, my friend. Exactly.
Yeah, Freddie, we were doing a POTA at the rail trail together, and we're in this like huge pile up. And then all of a sudden, I go, oh, I love your YouTube channel. Screw the pile up. Let's just have a 20-minute QSO with the guy. I was like, dude, what about all those people?
Oh, Lord, that's got to be a good time right there.
It will be. It'll be live stream for sure.
And-
It'll be us two bickering in the
Yeah.
middle of the activation, and it won't be like actually making contacts. It'll be just us complaining about who
Now,
who
hey,
was up with
when,
who.
when we did the solar eclipse, were we doing an activation there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're doing
You mean a live stream? Yeah.
live stream or something. Yeah. So we go to the rail trail during the solar eclipse. Paul's like up in like the North Country
Pittsburgh.
for the real solar eclipse, and like we get there thinking, oh, it's a nice sunny day, nice and warm, and all of a sudden it starts going, and like the bugs come out, the birds start going nuts, it starts getting cold. We're like, what the hell is going on? The bands are all like, we're making contacts and they all just die. We're like,
It was bad. It was bad. It was still
that was
fun, though.
quite the experience. I was like, holy crap. I tell you though, the birds were going, remember how nuts they went? And then we forgot the damn bug things. We're like, holy shit, we're getting eaten alive. Mosquitoes everywhere.
Yeah, there was no need for it. It was the beginning of spring. It wasn't. They weren't coming out yet.
Oh,
All
they
of a sudden-
came out.
Oh, it was swarm hell. It was like literally like
That was
the
fun
plague.
though. That was definitely fun.
Yeah, well, hopefully that'll be our continuation of our live stream. And so, Todd and I probably haven't, flushed out all the details, but we'll figure we're going to do, obviously, a giveaway to somebody, a special prize for the one who hits the 1,000 contact. We'll do a runner-up for the 999th person, because I know, like Todd said in the past, there are going to be people hanging out waiting. And then, they're going to get trampled fast. That's kind of my thought. Although, a funny story was, I was watching my numbers. So I started at 926 when I did the rail trail, and I'm like, I can't go over 975 because I told Todd I'd lock it at 975. So I'm creeping up on 975. And so I did like the last call, and every time I do a last call, I'm cursed. Like everyone Paul knows, he smiles because it's true. Literally, like the bands go dead. Nobody answers me after that point. It actually flipped on me. I started saying that a couple of times, and then all of a sudden I got more people coming in. I was like, oh crap, I'm getting closer. So I make the announcement. I'm like, guys, I have to stop at, the next 5 contacts. And you'd think I was giving away $1 million because everybody was just like, pile on, want to be like one of those 5. And so I get down to the last contact. I say, I'm going QRT. And, if I was with Todd, it would be like, oh, let's get the last one. Let's get the next guy. I basically turned the volume down. And then all of a sudden I hear in the background of the guy, one of the other guys is like, he throws out his call and he's like, where did he go? And the guy's like, another guy chimed in. He's like, oh, he must have really been serious when he said he was going QRT and he couldn't go any further. I was just like, why was I not recording that? That would have been perfect. So I was like, yep, totally. So I had some fun with it. It was good. We got it done in an hour, so it was like 57 contacts in 58 minutes. So
yeah, like I'll text him. I'm like, oh yeah, I got 45 today in an hour, and I hear him. So I am like, my phone. I try to do an update on my iPhone. Like there's a new update, and it started updating at work. Big mistake. Didn't ask it to do it. Just did it on its own, and then everything went black. Like nothing. It couldn't turn it on. I'm like, holy shit. So I was down near the mall where the Apple store is. So I said, all right, I'll go in there. 3:00. I'm like, all right, I'll go in there. Should be big. I said, hey, just thing automatically update went black. Like, oh yeah, it's a patch problem. Yeah, we can fix that. 2 hours later, I'm walking out of that store. Now, I've got my brother in town who I haven't seen yet, who's like, I thought you were leaving at 3. Yeah, had a little detour. I hear Eric, or ham alert comes up, and when JUR at the rail trail, I'm like, oh, fucking great, here it goes. And then I got my kid texting me, which he must have texted me between 3 and 5 like 1,000 times, because when my phone came back to life, it was like bing, 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 bing. So I'm driving and it just keeps popping up. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I get home. It goes, come on, Dad, we're going to be late. It was homecoming high school game. So I had to go to the football game. So I get to it was like the worst end of my day. And then to hear, I go, oh, how many did you get? Oh, you just have to find out. And then it freaking pops up. And then he's bragging about it on his morning brew.
I didn't brag about it.
Oh, I got like 53 in like an hour. It was easy.
7.
Seven,
right.
whatever.
7. So, yeah, all in all, it was fun. It was good.
It's good competition.
Just hit the button, man. Just hit the button. So, yeah, all in all, it was good. I was kind of glad to see. The one thing I really was like super excited was we had a lot of DX. I mean, I had Italy, the Netherlands, Spain. Wow. All of them were pounding in hard, and they were strong stations. And I'm just like,
I had Minnesota, a lot of Wisconsin,
Nebraska.
Iowa.
Yeah, my spread pattern was like all DX. I was like, oh, dude, this is sweet. So, yeah, it was fun. It was good to have some. It felt like, when Solar Cycle 25 was at the peak, where like you could literally like put up a wet noodle and make contacts, over the pond without any effort. So, yeah, I was quite happy. Made me good.
That's the power of the Reliance antenna.
Exactly, my friend. That was, I will never doubt that power, because I was almost ready to pull my vertical out. But I'm like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to set this damn thing up, even if I have to, do the mass dance every time trying to retune the thing. And thank God it only took me like a second or two to get it done. But yeah, once I got it in the sweet spot, I was like,
that must be my problem. Still, I was using the vertical. That must have been it.
Well, Paul, you have any retort?
Stupid buddy pole.
Hey, we could have used that the 24-hour POTA. I'm sure it would have been great for making contact, for hearing people.
No, because the 24-hour POTA, we used the Reliance antenna, random wire.
That was the only thing that worked.
It was. The stupid hex beam was so
right,
broken.
we were. I started off the 24-hour POTA, and like I couldn't hear squat. Like they were so far down and there's so much noise, and as soon as it started, everyone joins in like right at the thing. I have no headphones and I'm trying to pull the weakest signal I've ever heard, and everyone's having a thing, and I can't hear. I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, I'm activating this park. I got to get 10. And I was there for like, an hour and a half. And then Paul goes over, he gives me headphones, but doesn't tell me there's a volume thing on it. So I'm like, everyone's got to get out of here. I can't hear anyone. And then Tim comes by and he starts doing freaking CQ. So I hear beep, 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 beep. And then he gives me he goes, hey, there's volume. And then finally, I don't know how long, like, hey, do you want to try the random wire? And they plug that thing in and all goes quiet. I could hear everything. And I was like happy like a pig in shit. I'm like, we're back.
Good feeling though.
Yeah. So it was all good. Yeah, but that random wire, I'm like, just remember to tune. We got to tune every time you change bands. Tune that rate. But it was awesome though. That thing was. And then I had to put it away, and I couldn't believe it didn't look that big up in the air and stuff. But when you start rolling that thing up, I was like, shit, is this ever gonna hit? What was it? 140 feet?
More than that, 165 feet. And the counterpoise was 130 or 120 feet, according to Mike. I mean,
yeah, it was. It took a while to wrap that thing antenna up.
I don't want to hear it. I'm going to get on my 80 meter. You gave it to me, and then somehow in the truck ride home, it decided to become the proverbial Christmas ball of light, and I had to untangle the whole entire thing, because I'm not going to give it back to Izzo, in this big mess.
So nicely.
Yeah, it wasn't so nicely by the time I got it home. I don't know what happened. It was horrible, but it was slick as snot wire, so it didn't untangle that difficult.
Oh, that's good.
All in all, yeah, definitely use a kite winder, guys. Come on, even if you have to make a piece of cardboard, put your brain in gear. Make it easier for the rest of us. All right, well, cool. With that, it sounds like a lot to be had for sure. And so, yeah, pay attention. We'll definitely be doing announcements of once we do our rail trail, live stream, and it's going to be fun for sure. I know Paul will be in the background, ridiculing us.
Baby.
I will be like, I am going to be on the high alert. If you're going to be that, sad ham lid going, tuning up on our frequency the whole entire time, following us all, like, don't get any ideas.
Oh no, I'm gonna play like Biden clips and Trump clips. And
Great. without identifying. We'll know who
We'll be doing it on 7200.
We'll blend
That's
in fine.
Yeah.
And like a lot of us are really smart. I'm really smart.
Oh, God. Yes, you are.
What do you think? I could use a good ass kick, and I'll be very honest with you.
All right. Well, let's get this train back on the tracks here, my friends. So, we have a guest of honor, a great friend, and definitely a fellow YouTuber, Freddie Mack. You guys might know him as the Ham Radio Crusader. Great all-star guy, knows his sheet and gets it done, and is definitely the resource and the person to go to. So we invited him on, and we said, Freddie, help us, teach us, oh wise one. We will be your Padawans. And let it bestow such amazing things as All-Star to us, and catch us up to speed for sure. So before we do that, actually, so kind of give us a little backtrack for those that might not be in tune with Freddie and his channel. And if you aren't, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, are you not watching YouTube? Because he is a big, awesome resource out there for sure. But over to you, Freddie. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got into this crazy hobby like ham radio, and then we'll dive into All-Star from there.
Sounds like a plan. I'm Freddie Mack, a.k.a. your Ham Radio Crusader from the Ham Radio Crusader YouTube channel. I have a website. It looks like it's from 1991. It's hamradiolife.org, and I actually recently acquired hamradiolife.com. So if you have trouble finding the YouTube channel, go there, and it'll get you right where you need to be. But I've been in amateur radio since 1998. I think it was about 10 years ago, I got upgraded to general. And of course, ever since I was a little bitty kid, always fascinated with CBs and two-way radios. My parents got me one of those, gee whiz, I used to have them right here. Those GE General Electric little Walmart walkie-talkies from the 1970s. It was like on 49 megahertz. Yeah. And they were stupid awesome for us kids, and you got a 9-volt battery to power it with, and when it ran out, you begged your parents to buy you another one because that was like the most expensive battery on the market, apparently.
I had the Buck Rogers one, so yeah.
I'll see, yeah, I remember those as well. But I spent 33 years in law enforcement, and I tell you what, it was tough because in Oklahoma, when you work as a deputy sheriff, you don't make a lot of money. You try to keep your family fed, and yada yada yada, and ham radio kind of took a back seat. And on occasion, here and there, I acquired my first HF rig along the way, Kenwood TS440 SAT. Loved it because of the automatic antenna tuner, and connected it to a G5 RV antenna that I was fortunate enough to acquire, and strung it up in the backyard without my wife seeing, and made a contact in the suburbs of Chicago from Oklahoma. And I was just tickled as a pig in shit. I tell you, it was great. And I was so excited, I forgot to write his call sign down.
We all done that.
Like, hey, I'm talking to Chicago. Anyway, about a week later, my wife's transmission went out. So that had yeah. Yeah, radio went. And I tell you, it was always a good investment because I did that twice. Always sold them for more than I paid for it. And it just worked out. But, for a lot of years, ham radio took a back seat. So when I got close to retirement, I started, hey, I want to do a YouTube channel. I want to be able to devote my time to this. And I already had one I was tinkering with, Okie Archaeology. It's focused around small town Oklahoma history, but I wanted to do ham radio. So I started the channel, and I think my very first content to the channel was a live stream of there's two kind of final calls in law enforcement, and the one that I made is the one that you want to make. It's your last transmission on retirement day. So your last sign off. The other final call is you don't want to talk.
Final call, yeah, right.
Yeah, the one where you pass in the line of duty. But I was fortunate enough to have a final call in retirement. It was great, and started the channel. after that. And I thought, you know what? I heard about this all Starlink business, and I'm like, I want to do that. And I didn't know the difference between Ham VoIP software and ASL software. I didn't know they were two different things. They're two softwares that use the same service, right? So I started watching videos on YouTube like everybody else does, because YouTube is our university of knowledge now. And I was getting mixed signals. I was getting Ham VoIP information, and I was applying ASL information to Ham VoIP information, and everything went wrong. I was getting discouraged, and it was tough. So once I got a handle on things, I thought, you know what? Don't get me wrong. There was folks out there that had good videos on how to get started, but they weren't specific enough. I'm detail oriented. You know, when you're a public servant, if you don't have the details, you kind of get set back. So it is what it is. So I thought, you know what? Let's just do that. Start building nodes, do some videos, and all of them at the beginning were Ham VoIP, because that's where all the features were in All Starlink, the All Starlink world. ASL3 had their version 1.1. They had a version 2. Don't get me wrong, I love All Starlink, but the early versions were a little vanilla, and they were basically oriented towards an actual PC with Debian software on them, or Linux software. And they eventually evolved out into a Raspberry Pi version, but there wasn't a lot of add-ons that were compatible with their version.
Well, and most of it was all command line too. Like
exactly, there was hardly any GUI at all. And they did have a decent dashboard. It wasn't horrible. They had Allmon3. That was the one I messed with the most. I did one ASL install and setup early on, and I'm like, okay, I did it. Went back to Ham VoIP. But as time went on, June of 2023, I got in touch. I got contacted by some guys with All Starlink, the board members and higher ups, as it were, and they're like, hey, we got a grant from, is it ARDC?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
They got a grant
radio.
from.
Yep. Right.
Yep. They got a grant from them to rewrite ASL, and they developed ASL3, and they're like, hey, we want you to do the announcement video for it. You do the video for an initial install. We'll take a look at it, make sure it's what the message we want to convey. And they didn't try to handle me on anything, really. It's just like, hey, this is good, but it could be better like this. And they were so right. It's totally what it was. Mm-hmm. And it was like the clouds parted, the sun shined through, and it was amazing. Exactly. God. Like, hey, we got a brand new version. We got the most updated version of the Asterisk server. We got the most updated version of Debian, because Ham VoIP runs on Arch Linux, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's always been a security issue, because you operate in the root directory in Ham VoIP the whole time. It's one wrong move and you're done. Mm-hmm. Where ASL3, you're an asterisk user, and you have to get into the root. So it just, protects you a little bit there. Plus they put their own little firewall in it, and, made everything great again. So yeah, I stumbled quite a bit at first, but I've got a direct line to those guys. And I'm like, hey, I want to be able to do this, or I want to be able to do this, or, why is this not working? And they get me lined out pretty quick. Wow. But that's awesome. Yeah, they're great. And I tell you, it's been just a true blessing, and nowhere to go up but from there. But I mean, it is what it is.
As we start to rattle off all of our, Linux commands off the top of our heads here. Chat.
Dude.
So it's amazing. Like, you type the same commands over and over enough times, you start to remember them.
Oh yeah, dude. Trust me.
Second language.
Wait till you start using sed and awk. those are. Oh my gosh. I once I get back into the rhythm of it, I could probably give you all the option switches and everything else like that. But yeah, oh my gosh, when I learned those tools, I was like, why was I doing it the other way? Like, it was just so stupid.
Well, I'm the same way, because I was a Linux fanboy for years and years and years, and I always would start off in Ubuntu, because I guess it was most available, looked the neatest and all that other stuff. But as time went by, and especially since I got involved with ASL3, I'm a Debian fanboy from the get-go. I'm having a lot of fun. A lot.
Modem commands, Mike. Good job.
Dude, I remember modem commands from way back.
Oh my gosh, that and just having to write command set for every modem chipset out there. Oh my gosh, I would beat my head against the wall constantly. If it's not U.S. robotics modem, then it's garbage.
Dude, that was the Cadillac of modems, was it not?
Oh, they were the expensivest most too. It's
Yes,
like I
were.
I used to work for a financial institution, and when they were like, "Oh, we're just going to upgrade. We're going to get rid of all of our U.S. robotics modem, external modems, and replace them with a chassis. We're going to throw these away." I'm like, "Hell no! I'm taking these 56K modems with me home."
Right in this box, right here.
Yep, exactly. we'll work it out of the back of a truck. So, all right. So yeah, so you got a direct line to the All-Star folks. So kind of just give folks a general layout of the high level 50,000 foot level. Why would you want to do All-Star instead of, say something like DMR or any of those other modes? Because I know Grouch obviously was in that camp for a long time before he decided to see the light and come this way.
Well, I went Pi-Star to WPSD, right? So, but everything was, with a Pi and an MMDVM hat.
Yep.
Digital radio. Yep.
And I was like, well, there's got to be a way that I can use the Pis that I have with the MMDVM hats for All-Star, right?
No. Well, partially, yes.
Only with a ClearNode, unfortunately.
Yeah, good question. I never gotten a clear answer on that one from why that works for them and not for the others. Maybe you have the insight to that one, but
because they developed it. They developed a proprietary board. Yep, that is analog and digital. Mm-hmm. And they were smart enough to write an awesome app, a phone app interface for it as well. And I have never had a ClearNode. I've given the opportunity a few times to use a gentleman's app who has one. And his node was actually in North Carolina, but I had the phone app on my phone, and I could still reprogram his node.
Yeah,
and
the flexibility of it.
Yes, it's great. It's very convenient. But I just realized I don't know if there's a local browser interface if you're on the same network as the ClearNode.
No. So your ClearNode, obviously the interface that he wrote is a software app, but if you want to control it locally over your, say, either VPN connection or whatever, you got to run like Allmon or Supermon.
Sure. And which makes sense. That makes total sense. Okay.
And so that's kind of how I manage it when I'm at home or whatever, when I want to be able to just browse into it. Kind of thing.
Did they give you the ability to do an SSH client session into it as well?
The nice part about it is that it's full Pi, so it's not like a super customized OS. So you literally can do everything you normally do, tailoring all the scripts.
Awesome.
You just have to know the nomenclature of okay, when that node writes out to the the certain config files, make sure you've got the appropriate, it doesn't edit out your file or doesn't edit out any of the changes you do manually because it will overwrite some of that stuff as part of the software. So that's a little caveat you got to pick up on that, and don't ask me how I know, but I've made too many changes and going, why aren't they working? Especially when I started to play with Ham VoIP, and I'm like, oh, cool, I can connect my ASL node, my ClearNode to my Ham VoIP, extension. I got it all working, and then I made one change, and it reset everything. I was like, why is it not working?
Oh, no. Well, as turnkey All-Star nodes go, I would say ClearNode is probably got the most functional for the first-time user. My experience, because of the ease of use as far as ease of setup for a conventional user.
Okay. So let's kind of back the train up. So someone who's new to this, where would you kind of lead them to? And we'll use Todd as our, student relationship, but
we use Todd as the basic appliance operator.
Well, if you're an appliance operator, then that'd be a direction I'd head you in. But I've had a lot of hams come to me. It's like, I want to do All-Star Link, but some of them are like, I want to build my own node. I want to, they're the tinkerer like I am, but you have appliance operators as well. And I'm like, I've got to feel them out first. I'm like, okay, tell me what you want to do first, because a lot of them, I want to build my own node. But if you just want a good turnkey, I want to order it and set it up and leave it alone so that I can get back to the other parts of ham radio that I love, then I start directing them towards ClearNode or hotspotradios.com or Kits for Hams, because they make some really good turnkey nodes. based on a Raspberry Pi 3 or 5. I think most of them are 4 or 5. Most of them are going 4 and 5s now. And the pricing is right. Also, the hotspotradios.com. Marshall, whose call sign I can't remember right now, is one of the co-owners. He's a retired LA County fireman. He also he volunteers time for All Star Link to do troubleshooting and tech support for those that are having issues. And he's a great guy. He makes that. I don't know if you've seen that little mini repeater that I have in my truck, hotspotradios.com. It's got 2 SA818 chips on it, one for transmit, one for receive. Oh, wow. And it does true full duplex. That's the node that I did the auto patch on. The auto patch video. And auto patch is supposed to work on a half duplex link standard all-star node, but it works best on full duplex because you're transmitting at the same time. But he makes several different nodes. He makes a USB hot duplex repeater. The hotspot radio itself, it runs off of a Pi 3, Pi 4, Pi 5, whatever you designate. It's all in one. And he also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So a question with this kind of thing is I stumbled upon this when Todd and I were just bouncing back and talking about stuff. The duplex repeater, is that just basically you have a need for an additional Pi in order to be able to run the ASL software on it to be able to interface? Is that how this device is, handling the hardware side of stuff, or is it just a full complete turnkey?
No, it's
another Pi.
It's got to have a Pi. It's just got to have one Pi.
Okay, so it's got to have one Pi to be able to run it. Okay.
And I've had it's a very good question, Eric. Very good question, because everybody's like, why do you need a mini repeater in your car? Uh-huh. And at first I thought, I'm not really sure I want to do an auto patch video. But later on, it became very evident one very good reason. Now, every spring, Jason, KC5HWB, and Tank, and Digital Rancher, and all of us go to Springfield, Missouri. Kyle, AA0Z. We go up there for the Overlanding Expo, the More Expo, there in Springfield, Missouri. And we camp.
Okay.
So I got my hotspot repeater in the truck, and the transmit antenna, I have it hooked to an outside mobile antenna, and the receive antenna is on the inside. So it gives a little bit of separation because the antennas are much more efficient than the ones that come with it because they're removable and you get to replace them. Mm-hmm. And we camp on the northeast corner of the entire Springfield fairgrounds. And the expo building is completely on the other side. This place is huge. I mean, it's like a 20-minute walk. Nah, it's probably about a 10, 15-minute walk from the campsite over to the expo building and up and down the whole 9 yards. And the Nixa Radio Club had a booth set up. Alpha Antenna had a booth set up there on a complete other side. And I'm talking on my little walkie. I used my TDH8 for a while. And totally full quieting on my repeater. So I'm thinking this is the perfect example. I'm on the other side of the campus talking on my repeater. Those guys at the camp are also getting the benefit of that repeater for All-Star Link. It's like a local repeater, but it's also connected to All-Star Link, and we had it hooked up to Jason's hub and the 43136 hub, like you and I are connected to on a frequent basis.
How do you work the frequency pairs with that?
You got to be careful, especially when you're out of town. Especially if you're out of town, you got to do your little research. Make sure you're not going to interfere with a local repeater, because you can just reprogram it right there on the fly as long as you've got a computer interfaced on the same network as your node, and then you can just reprogram your transmit and reprogram your receive SA818 chips, and you're good to go again, because there is no duplexer. You're doing a watt.
Right.
And you've got antenna separation. It sounds amazing. Yeah. But the guys at the camp get to talk on it. I can hear them. So think about it. If it's a simplex link like we're used to on a regular node, I'm across campus and talking into the All-Star link. When I'm talking into a simplex node, it's only going back out over the network. So the guys at camp aren't hearing my walkie all the way on the other side of the campus. And I'm probably doing 5 watts tops. If they do hear me, it's weak. But if I'm running a mobile repeater, it's retransmitting locally and they're hearing everything I say. I can hear everything they say, and then everybody that you're connected to on your node hears everything that you say. So it's really good for a little group situation. We used it again at Dayton Hamvention. We used it again at Huntsville. Of course, yeah, I had it up at Huntsville, but Jason's node was closer to everybody else. So, it's whatever you wanted to do. But if you have a group, they can all benefit from a repeater versus a simplex link, depending on where everybody's at. So
okay, so basically their hotspot radio is basically their full-fledged, full-pie all-star setup.
Right, it's a full-fledged, full duplex all-star link node, but
which is pretty much like what you have with the ClearNode there, Todd. Although it's the web interface versus like it's a mobile app kind of thing. But
and for that price, it better come plug and play.
Well, yeah, for the although I don't know, what is the price going for the hotspot one? I don't see one on there.
$198 for the hotspot radio duplex repeater. Of course, you got to supply your own Raspberry Pi. Yeah, and it's just beautiful. And I get on it and do nets. I'll connect to a different net not a different net. I connect to the same net every Saturday morning. The Delaware Valley OMIC net it's in Philadelphia where the repeater's at, but a bunch of people connect into it, and it runs for about an hour and a half, and it doesn't even get hot. It's amazing.
Put it this way, that hotspot radio with hotspot radios, Paul, is $298. The ClearNode is $390, almost $390. It's $100 more. So yeah, you're definitely you get a little bit more of the hands-on stuff that you are used to with this hotspot radio, but it's all kind of turnkey for you and pretty much out of the box kind of thing. So that's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to take this little guy, right, which is got the MMDVM hat, and it's a Pi 3B. I wanted to take this and just turn it into an All-Star node. And then I realized that, All-Star doesn't work with an MMDVM.
Bummer.
Thanks for that, Freddie. I appreciate you. Help me out there.
And this is how that's just all there is to it. And, the whole digital analog argument for me, I started out on analog. Don't get me wrong. I love a lot of digital modes. But when All-Star Link, I found it's analog only, technically, except for what gets digitized over the internet, is what I wanted. I love the sound of an analog signal, and All-Star Link, its use of the asterisk server gives you that audio quality that's above and beyond what Echo Link could provide.
Yeah.
And
you kind of hit it on the head. Like that's the biggest gripe with we have our club repeaters at DR2. And you think anybody would use the digital side? No, that was everyone complains when everybody's in a C4 FM
Eric
mode.
And I sometimes use it.
we just do it to annoy some people sometimes when we want to get that little extra couple of miles. We're just out of the fringe. But yeah, everyone hates it because they just hate that annoying. If your radio doesn't pick it up, and so I'm like. I want to be in another state, in another in the tip of Maine on vacation and still be able to hit our usual nets and stuff like that. So All-Star is awesome, kind of scenario for that. So yeah, we've been pushing hard for that with our club because our repeater's in a decent spot, but it could be better, and that's where.
Oh yeah.
That's the problem with. I mean, I don't know what the terrain is like where you're at, Freddie, but up here, if we don't have a mountain in front of us, then it's almost like. Why don't you have a mountain in front of us? Because it's literally everything's all granite and hill.
And if your repeater is not on top of that mountain that's above all the other mountains, it's hit or miss. So, I just got the All-Star node, and I'm just jumping into it. So I just, Eric was like, you got to get on this. You got to see how it works. You can do this. And then I started looking, and then I was like, screw it. I'm just going to pull the plug. So I did it and got it set up and made the 2 contacts. So tomorrow I'm going to be at work. But what's going to be cool is I have I do juvenile probation. So we have a work car.
That's your heart.
Yeah, no, I'm trust me. Go back on some of our podcasts and you'll see. I'm begging. I'm trying to get laid off or early retirement.
Yeah.
I got a date. My official date that I can fully retire and get no penalties is December 1st, 2031.
Holy
Yeah,
smokes.
but hold on. It gets better because I called the retirement lady and she hooked me up, and it's going to be earlier. Trust me.
She's like, oh, yeah, Todd, we've got you. We know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
With you.
No, she's like, well, look, she told me, she goes, this is how, she goes, the state sucks. Let me show you how to screw them over. So I filled out all this information, and she says, it's going to take about 3 to 4 weeks, but once you get that, you'll have all the numbers, and then you can get it. You'll be out of here way sooner than that. So,
that's good to hear.
yeah,
Good.
but anyway, so I got the Node. So what's going to be cool is I'm going to be able to bring the Node in the car, bring the HT, and be able to use the radio while I'm using the work car, and not have to be stealthy and sticking like a mag mount on the car and probably getting called out like, what? Why are you doing that? But I really think that the idea behind it, especially for like club repeaters, especially in the Northeast, it's huge because it'd be awesome too. Like if people move away. And let's say, you move down south and you get out of the snow and you still want to talk to your buddies. Well, if you're not on an All-Star Link or Echo Link or your repeater's not on there, you're kind of shit out of luck. We used to have Echo Link, and I actually did one of our nets or participated in one of our nets from St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands from Echo Link, which was kind of cool.
Cool.
But it would be cool to be able to do it from All-Star or anywhere I'm at, and Paul too, as he's traveling the country, could still get on the repeater, and I could still talk to him.
Just even an all-star in general, but yeah.
And the beautiful thing about ASL3, well, you could even do it in Ham VoIP. You can configure your Echo Link connection inside of ASL3. Are you familiar with IRLP, the Internet Repeater Linking Project?
Yeah.
If you have an account for them, you can also configure it inside of your All-Star Link node. So it's like, it makes your, like, let's say for mine here at home, I configured it, my Echo Link side as KD5FMU-L. And if I go onto the Echo Link website right now, you would see that it's online. So anybody on the outside wanted to connect in through Echo Link to that node, you would be talking over my All-Star Link node. I could in turn put in the right DTMF sequence or go through the Supermon, Allmon browser and type in the right sequence and do a DTMF from there. Then you're doing a All-Star or a Echo Link connection outbound. As long as you got the ports open in your router, just like you would if you set up a regular Echo Link node, it's a totally doable thing. And there's a lot of folks out there that want to hang on to that Echo Link. And, I kind of do too, to a fashion. Our 70 centimeter repeater, when I have the All-Star Link node back up on it logs in on the KD5FMU-R, which I am this close to directly integrating an All-Star Link node to our Yaesu DR2X repeater. I almost had it right before the move started. I actually got it to PTT, but it wouldn't pick up on cost because I had the wires backwards.
Flipped on them, yeah.
Oh my God.
There is a couple of, I noticed on the repeater, like Ryan, who's not, he's our silent member of the show, but been with us since day one. He's our buy once, cry once kind of guy. And so he's building another repeater, and he's back-ending his whole all-star, kind of component. So he's got all the cables and everything else like that matched up. And it's definitely an interesting challenge to get that silly, stupid repeater to, behave, the
way you want it to.
Things. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, it's easier if you want to go that way to build your own repeater, because All-Star Link and All-Star Link node is a repeater controller. At the end of the day, it's a computerized repeater controller. Even in a simplex radio setting, that's what they call a semi-half duplex repeater, but
pretty much, yeah.
It's one-sided, but you have a full duplex node. It's a repeater, man, and All-Star Link is your controller. So, and you've got so much functionality. Oh my gosh. I've got mine set up to connect every night it's 11 p.m. my time to the Puget Sound Repeater Group's net in Seattle. They have 3 nets a day, every day, on a 2-meter repeater that must be bad to the bone because that thing gets timed out all the time. But, just the certain functionality, I've made so many friends that I've never met over All-Star Link. It's crazy. And for those who are listening, my home node 58176 can now have inbound connections again because I've got the real internet at my house.
Finally. None of this, hotspot stuff.
Exactly. I went the first night we spent the night here. All we have is Apple TV. We don't have a TV antenna. And it's like, we need to watch TV. I maxed out 3 hotspots in like a night and a half. It's like, oh crap, we got to get internet quick.
We're going to throttle you fast, my friend.
Yeah, boy, they will. Hit that 30 gig mark and you're down.
So let's kind of back up the train a little bit for those that don't have any prior All-Star. So, like, obviously you recommended the ClearNode side of things before we got detoured. But, so say like we're, a knucklehead and you're willing to kind of dive into the Linux world and put stuff together. What parts kind of in general would you recommend for someone to go out and pick so they don't have to spend and this is my problem, is like when I dove into All-Star, it was like, oh, buy a sharing node. Oh, no, buy the USB dongle. Or, like there's so many things out there. It's like, just tell me, oh, dear, Freddie Mack, what is the right ones to buy?
Well, and there's no right and wrong necessarily.
Don't start now. Just cut to the chase and just go to what you recommend. Simple as that.
The ones I recommend the most. Now, if you want a turnkey, I recommend hotspotradios.com. But... Right. I don't want to disparage Kits for Hams at all because they make a very good product, And I can't say enough about ClearNode. I wanted to say more because I've never owned one yet, and I'm going to get to that. It's on my list of things to do. But if you want quick and easy and turnkey, hotspotradios.com, Kits for Hams, they're the closest thing you get. Now, you're going to see some stuff on Amazon that looks like some of Kits for Hams projects, but it's going to be called Guzizu or some other Chinese randomly generated brand name that looks a lot like one of the Kits for Hams boxes, and they're crap. Occasionally you will get one that's okay. I set one up for a friend. I did a video on it. It's called Attack of the Clones because it's a cloned All-Star Link node. It took a little bit, and if I hadn't watched another YouTuber's video, I would have never got it set up because it looks the same, but it is not set up the same. It's difficult and it's cheaper. That's what the draw is.
Okay.
So just if it doesn't say one of those brands, and if there are other brands that I'm missing and I haven't reviewed yet, get a hold of me. I'd love to, spread the good word about a nice, dependable, easy to set up All-Star Link node. Totally.
All right.
About.
You've obviously listed Kits for Hams, but then now you haven't been clear which one of the 5 devices on Kits for Hams.
Well, I'll tell you the one that I bought first.
Okay.
I bought the Shari Pi Hat 4. It's what they call the Neo Pi 4 now because it's a Neo case, and that case is like all aluminum, and it connects right to the chip, the CPU, because the case is the heatsink, and they have a cooling fan option. Get that option. In Oklahoma, I know it gets hot where you guys live, but man, there's a next level kind of summer heat here that is all about the humidity as well as it is about the heat.
Swamp crotch.
Yes, pretty close. Yeah. So my Shari got hot a few times in the truck because I converted it into the truck when I was still on ham VoIP, and it's started acting a little funny. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I put a cooling fan on it myself, and I got several more months out of it. But now the audio is so terrible. It just got too hot too many times. And because I would leave it running in the truck on a couple of about 20 amp hours of LiPo battery in there, and it didn't do it well. Okay. But since I switched to that full duplex little mini repeater from Hotspot Radios, the thing hasn't missed a beat. Wow. As far, standing the heat and the traffic and the whole 9 yards. But with all that, no, go ahead.
So this Pi 4 basically is a full complete,
it is
kit and everything. Okay.
It is. Now you can buy it a few different ways. Completely built, which obviously you're going to pay a little more money for. But the beauty of Kits for Hams is it comes in UHF or VHF. Mm-hmm. Or Hotspot Radios' products are all UHF. So if you want a VHF option, you probably should look at Kits for Hams because they use quality products like Hotspot Radios does, and they stand behind it and they support it. So you can't fault them for that. But I bought mine in kit form. And the only thing I didn't do as the kit is I paid a $5 fee to have them solder on that SA818 chip because it's several contacts. It's very tedious.
SMD.
I'm arthritic, and I didn't want to chance it. So I'm like, they're going to do that one thing. I did all the rest. I didn't regret it. I wished I would have used the right size drill bit for the antenna port. But I didn't. But you learn that lesson. So
okay, cool.
Whatever size bit they tell you to use that size of bit. Don't improvise.
All right.
Their newest version of that is the Shari Pi Hat Neo Pi 5. It works with the Pi 5, and it's the same kind of a Neo case that's aluminum. And I've heard a lot of good things about it. I haven't set one of them up yet. So they've got several choices and several models, and I would stand behind all their stuff because they support every bit of it.
All right. Well, let's. I'm just going to bring this.
You can't go wrong there.
Freddie's going through some of the details here. So this is Kits for Hams. Obviously, those on the podcast, check out the live stream for sure, or the video recorded on our YouTube channel. This is the latest one. So this one basically is it's pretty smaller footprint than the 4, correct?
Yes.
By the looks of it? Interesting.
It's really close, but pretty much.
All right. And so these are pretty much, hardware-wise, either pre-built or ready to turn into, basically a turnkey unit. And then at that point, you're in charge of getting software configured and all that, correct?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And there are some places, I want to say at one time they may have offered a software setup. And I think that was more closer to the Ham VoIP days, but I'm not sure if that's still an option.
See, we got the right guy here because apparently his videos are that popular.
And then Tim came along, Great Man Poda, and created the ASL3 on Shari Pi video, which was amazing. It's always good to have more than one person explain it to you because I may not explain it the way Eric would understand or Paul would understand, and if somebody else comes along and explains it a different way, and you get it. It's just
and that's the same reason why, like after Paul watching your All-Star video, going through 6 times installs, and then realized it wasn't the All-Star install, it was his stupid Starlink that was causing him the headache.
Oh man, it'll drive you right.
It's those little caveats. It's like as you're doing the install, you don't think like, oh, I should tell people that your internet connection could be the problem.
Exactly. And the ironic part was it took me a while to figure that out too. I was in the same boat because I switched from Ham VoIP to ASL3. Ham VoIP always worked in the car. And then I go to ASL3. I'm like, crap, I can only connect to the parent node. What is up? And it took a while of me getting out of my own way to finally just ask for help. And totally got it. It's like, okay, now that you've explained it to me, that makes sense.
Well, how many whiskeys was it for you, Paul? I can't remember.
Too many. and the funny thing is, right, is so I tried to do it on my own, and so I was using ChatGPT and Grok to try and help me along. And according to ChatGPT and Grok, well, you can just reconfigure the Pi to do All Starlink with the MMDVM board, but you can't actually, because every time I went through all of the steps that I was given by AI, I wasn't getting anywhere, and then I sent you a message, Freddie, and I was like, hey, like, I've been beating my head against the wall for 2 weeks on this. Like, what am I doing wrong? And then you were like, no, man, it's just the 2 incompatible things. Like, and I appreciated that you sent me a link to, I think it was the Hotspot Radio USB board.
Yep.
The Sherry. And it was $100, which in the grand scheme of things, right? I mean, it's not terrible, but I was able to find one on Amazon that was comparable for about half the cost. And thanks for being there, because I sent you that link and I said, hey, I just want to make sure before I buy this, like, is it going to work? And so far, I mean, it's working fantastically.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Pretty much. Okay. So, yeah. So you've got the Pi. You've got the software turnkey. So where does someone go next, and kind of what's that flow kind of look like for them if they're, embarking, they've got the hardware component piece established and they're ready to go to the software side. So where are you leading them?
Well, the Ham Radio Crusader YouTube channel is a good place to start.
Definitely. I agree, 100%.
I think the real question is once you get the Allmon3 working, when do you decide to start playing with Supermon?
For me, right away. Don't get me wrong. When I started with HamVoip, it came with a version of Supermon for the dashboard. We called it Supermon 1 because Doug Crompton, WB. Oh, gee whiz, I'm going to get it wrong. I don't want to get his call sign wrong, but he wrote the Supermon 2 interface for HamVoip because I was always used to that particular dashboard because
Paul,
it gives you functionality. I'm sorry?
Paul? Is it Paul, the guy's name?
Dave.
Okay.
Doug Crompton, WB3HB.
I'll look it up for you real quick, but yeah.
Gee whiz. He's got the Philly hub. He was one of the early rock stars of All Starlink, but he's in the HamVoip camp, and he wrote Supermon 2. And Supermon 2 gave you all this functionality. You can reboot, you can reconfigure your node, customize it, you can customize your interface, and all these functions. And Allmon 3 is it's not vanilla necessarily. It just doesn't have all those features that I enjoyed over the years. So
it's pretty plain.
It kind of is. And don't get me wrong, if you're a first time user, plain is not a problem. It just makes it harder for you to mess things up. Which, I learned by messing all that stuff up, and I just wanted people to learn from my mistakes. I'm going to put a link in the private chat there. That's to my GitHub page. It's github.com/KD5FMU. And I have, with the help of several others, Jory, W5GLE is one of them down in southern Texas, and ChatGPT, because, I confer a lot with ChatGPT. You got to watch him because he hallucinates from time to time and just kind of makes up stuff as he goes along. I don't know what's up with that, but
that is true.
If you're a first-time user, getting your node set up for the first time, I've got a script file in there called the ASL3 multi-app install. And you can pick and choose of 4 or 5 different apps to add on to your node. And you can do one at a time, you can do all at a time, or you can just get a few. There's the AllScan interface. It's a dashboard as well. And David Gleason over at AllScan also makes some amazing All Starlink nodes that I'm so sorry now that I left out of the mix. Allscan.info is a website you want to check out for that. But you can, with this script file, you can install the Allscan dashboard, the Supermon 7.4 dashboard, Skywarn Plus that I talked about earlier. It's your National Weather Service alerts over your node. You can also get the DV Switch server installed alongside of your ASL3 install so that you can bridge in TGIF DMR. You used to could do Brandmeister, but they fight you a lot on it now. Or you can bridge in your YSF reflector. And I haven't tried D-Star on it yet, but they say it can be done. So
I think the guy you were looking for is Whiskey Alpha 3 DSP.
Yeah, WA3 DSP. And that call sign sings every time I say it and remember it correctly. That's Doug Crompton, and he's just like the smartest man alive when it came to HamVoip. Yep. Because he did a lot of, and he still does. He's on the Groups IO page for HamVoip and for Supermon 2 all the time, helping people out. I mean, it's what he does, and he's been a ham forever.
So, in your mind, which is better to run, Allmon or Supermon?
Allmon's catching up,
okay.
But I'm still a Supermon 7.4 guy because I like to customize.
Well, and as long as you get the right edit bits on your Pi, you can literally edit the files directly from the browser, which is
exactly, and you can. But
that was pretty cool.
If you're a first-time user, until you get your feet wet and get very comfortable and confident inside of your All Starlink node, start with Allmon 3 for that dashboard, because there's a lot of sport. When you log into your All Starlink node through the browser, you get a landing page, and one of those selections on that page is the entire manual for All Starlink 3. There's not a lot of readers in this world because I still get a lot of questions that can be answered if you just read the manual.
Why would I do that?
There is so much information there.
Totally.
I have to search all the time because it's just too much.
And it's really, and some of the nomenclature is not what I'm exactly used to. So, I confer with ChatGPT, but I have the luxury right now of being a part of the Slack server for the All Starlink gang. They've let me in as a guest for over a year now, and I hope that they continue to do so because I'm just, I'm an evangelist for All Starlink version 3. And if I can make it better for everybody else, that's what I'm going to do. So it is what it is, but there's a lot of information. I'm still going line by line, learning everything there is to know about rpt.conf because that's the heart and soul of all your configuration settings for the repeater side of everything in the node. And I'm still learning, but man, I know a lot more now than I did when I started this journey. I'll tell you that much.
I like that. I learned when you're editing the configuration files, right? If you put a semicolon at the beginning, it makes it so that it's null and void, but you don't have to get rid of it.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's up.
So that way you can go back and you can undo it and you can just remove the semicolons and you're good.
And I tell you what,
commenting out.
Exactly. You comment in or out a line to disable a function, but I'll tell you what you don't do. And Jason Johnston, Ham Radio 2.0, and I were on a Zoom meeting together, setting up a node of his, and we went into manager.conf, which is where you do the login settings for the Asterisk server. And the very top of the line, he inadvertently put in like a dash or a period or some symbol. It was just a misstroke of the keys, and neither one of us caught it. And we made our changes in the file, saved it, and exited out, and the whole thing died. It's like, what the heck happened, man? It took an hour for us to find that mistake.
Yeah, you have to watch your syntax a lot, and especially make one change at a time. Do not make multiple changes and then expect all of them to work the way they you put in.
Very, very literal.
And make copies of your freaking file over, so if you have to nuke and pave, you can easily just go back in and restore.
And I'll tell you what, that's a beautiful thing about ASL3. They have a built-in backup. It does basic settings backup. So you went in and you've entered your node information and you have a functioning node. Just basic setup. They will back that up for you on the cloud, and you can also do it locally. Yep. Now, if you go in and then add all the add-on programs that are the add-on scripts that I've talked about before, it won't back up that much information because they don't have that much cloud space.
Right.
But
that's actually the perk of the ClearNode too, is like literally that whole entire config is literally backed up, whether you want it or not, because I'm sure he's been like, well, your instance is nuked and your SD card's nuked and I've got to restore it. And so,
yeah, you got to start all over. And some people will give right up if they've got to start all over again. I'm the weird guy. I love to set up a new node. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, for me, I like if I play in that space and I tweak it the right way I want, I'll make a full image of it and then put that off to the side and then walk away from it for a little while and just start to use it because
and that's always a great idea.
I break stuff way too easily. That is my MO. And so, all right. So yeah, it sounds like there's a couple of good features, obviously from a hardware perspective, once you get in. So now that you've established Allmon or you got Supermon running and you've got your node up and running, what the hell do you do next?
Well, if you're like me and you really are weather conscious, I'm also putting Skywarn Plus on there. And it gives it functionality, not only just you can define your county in that alert system. You can also define other counties around you. You can define counties in California or in New York City if you wanted to. And once those alerts are issued, you will get the alert. But you can also set it to change your courtesy tone while that alert is active. It'll announce once the alert is active. It will do a tail message behind every transmission, not every transmission, periodic transmissions after the alert has been issued. And then once it clears, it'll break in and say, the National Weather Service has cleared all alerts for your area. And I love that. I totally love that. And there's a lot of functionality you can do with that, because we also had our setup for a little while. We tested it out. When a tornado warning for our area is issued, certain repeaters would automatically, from that program, would link up so that we had a wide area net going, weather net. And when that tornado warning or watch or whatever the case may be gets cleared, disconnects them all. Okay. And you can adjust that, and there's many different ways you can do it. It has a lot of functionality, and Mason Nelson developed that, and he's always tweaking it, trying to make it better.
So then I got a question around that, because I know within the ClearNode there's the Skywarn option, and then what the heck is the difference between that and the Plus option?
I'm betting. See, now Ham VoIP came built in with what they call Auto Skywarn, which had the basic functionality of Skywarn Plus. Skywarn Plus took that feature and built upon it and added crap load of features to it. So if you're running ASL3 on your ClearNode and there's a Skywarn function, I guarantee you it's installing Skywarn Plus.
Yeah, that's all I see.
Yeah,
on mine.
Skywarn.
He has an amazing GitHub page to support Skywarn Plus as well. Mason does.
It's an interesting feature to have on. I obviously, the one is the problem when you tinker is that you put this stuff on and you're like, well, nothing's happening. And you're like, okay. And then you forget about it. And then all of a sudden you find it's like, causing you a headache because all of a sudden it triggers it. So I've gone back and tore it out or turned it off or disabled it. But now I'm going back in again and re-enabling it. I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, is there ways to test it, obviously, or no?
Yes. In the there's a file in there called config.yaml. I call it YAML. I think it stands for yet another multi-layer file. Yep. You can go down to the bottom of it. There's a dev section where you can set false to true for the alert system, and it will issue 3 alerts by default: tornado, thunderstorm, and flood warning, I think. Okay. And you want to be careful when you do that. I changed mine to volcano warning because nobody in Oklahoma is going to believe that shit.
I don't know. With this day and age, it's very possible, Freddie. Come on.
But Yellowstone is blowing.
Yeah. A buddy of mine changed his to tsunami warning in Oklahoma. Nobody's going to believe that. So I do that on purpose because they're not going to believe it. So I can test what it does. And if you have Supermon 7.4 installed, it will add a little red lettering to your node. Tornado Watch, Okmulgee County or Tulsa County or whatever county it is you have designated in your setup. Which, if you're looking at your Supermon page, that's a nice little thing to know, because you may come in and not be listening to the radio and log into your Supermon and say, "Hey, crap! There's a tornado warning, been issued," or what have you.
So, what? As I'm kind of dabbing through here real quick. What's all the big telemetry stuff? Like, I noticed that, one of those things when I started in the whole process, they were like, "Oh, just don't touch it. Go with the defaults." Like, why and where, recommendations that you'd throw at it, that you'd want to change. Because I noticed that, the silly things like, say, your IP address at boot, that got really freaking annoying fast. And
it will. For me, I leave it turned on because I'm not a developer, but I'm always diagnosing nodes, so that little tidbit helps me. But if you're not the guy that's working on it all the time, it's annoying. Yep. But how many times have you connected to a hub or a net or a bunch of people and you're hearing all those other nodes connect and disconnect?
Not often, but I do hear every once in a while.
Yeah, and that when I'm connected up to the PSRG or the Delaware Valley OMIC net, if I have telem default equals 1 or equals 2 in the rpt.conf file, I'll hear all those other nodes connecting and disconnecting, and it gets old. Yeah. So, but with that said, if I'm using my node in a mobile environment, I want to hear that, because I want to be conscious if I'm still connected to the internet or not.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I say that. No, go ahead.
I was going to say that would be a nice feature, because I know obviously with my node, the only way I kind of know is in the telemetry information when I actually hear it sounds like a kerchunk or something to that effect.
Exactly.
And that's establishing it. Yeah.
That the other side of that coin for telem default is you're still getting your courtesy tones. So there's also a setting in gee whiz. I'm going to draw a blank now, but there is a setting in your node setup where you can do, like it's a half duplex hotspot. You can do it with no telemetry, and that will turn, or I'm sorry, it'll say no courtesy tones. So you can turn your courtesy tones off if you wish to.
Right.
But that courtesy tone, especially in a mobile setting, is a big help because I know if I'm still connected.
Yeah, interesting.
But with that segue, I have a new script that I'm testing out right now, but it's live on the GitHub page. It's called Check Connection Script File. And Jory helped me out with that as well, W5GLE, and some little help from the guys from AllStarLink. But what this does, I put it on my mobile node, and once set up correctly, in which it's very little setup, but when you're going down the road, every 3 minutes, it's reaching out and said, am I still on the internet? And if it is, it's like, okay, I'll keep quiet. But if it reaches out and it can't touch the internet, then it plays an audio file over your radio. Internet connection lost.
Once that goes live, let me know. I want that for sure, because that's one of the things I'm always concerned, like, especially obviously I said my 50 amp hour battery finally just like decided to go and take a break, and so my All-Star node takes a hit, and we all know SD cards do not love to be powered off immediately.
They sure don't.
And I've fried one or two, and so like I'm only buying time at this point, keeping my All-Star node alive in the truck until I get that solar stuff configured to keep it basically charged all the time.
And also with that same problem, I've converted not all, but a lot of my nodes to a Pi 5 and added an NVMe hat to them. And I'm booting off of an NVMe drive. So instead of like 32 gigs, I've got 256 gigs now, faster read-write speeds. And if it loses power, they're more reliable in those situations. So you're not even booting from an SD card, a micro SD card anymore.
Right.
You pay a little extra bucks. And I think it's like $13 for the hat board and whatever the NVMe drive costs you. Yeah. But dadgum, I've got one in my truck, and also made a file server out of it. So it's like, why not?
What you're serving out of? It's like
well, it's mainly All-Star script files, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm just super nerd, but it just makes your All-Star-Link node that much more reliable. My mobile node's an NVMe. My house node is an NVMe, and I'm got another one at the house. I've got one of those All-Scan All-Starlink nodes. I wished I'd have mentioned them at the beginning. I hate it when I leave them out because they make an excellent product. And he makes his own sound fob in a metal enclosure, but he attached it to a Redibus RT85 walkie-talkie.
Who's
and
this
you plug David Gleason over at allscan.info. And that walkie-talkie and everything is powered from a Raspberry Pi power supply. If you get one of those 5 volts, 4 amp power supplies that Raspberry Pi sells.
Oh, is that URI RT85 one?
Yes.
Yeah, let me.
And the sound. Oh my gosh, it's just amazing. And the beautiful thing about all that is on that walkie, you could program your frequency for your node on the fly.
Oh wow. So
yeah,
that's this one right here. Yeah.
Yep, and the one below it, I think, is the one Grayman Poda has because it runs off at 12 volts.
Oh,
instead of 5. He's got one in his Bronco, his mobile radio, and we set it up on that IAX registration, and it just rocks and rolls.
Wow.
Yep, and I'm actually building a repeater for a friend out of one of his standalone sound fobs. And he also makes a radioless node that he has sent me that I've got to build as a kit. It's up and coming. And the dude loves All-Starlink just as much as I do.
And so actually, good segue there. I mean, real quick. I mean, obviously one of the things that we've got some interest here over the Live Free and Ham community is like, having that capability of, a headless node. That's pretty much what Jason built for his HR2 node, correct?
That's exactly right. He uses a cloud service I don't think it's DigitalOcean. I can't remember.
No, it's I know who you're talking.
I use ClearNode from. They just recently merged with another company.
Huh.
But I pay $5 a month for mine because if it gets more usage, then you have to pay for more processor.
Yeah, DreamHost is what
DreamHost.
Yeah.
Jason uses, yes, because he gets a lot of traffic through his.
And you're running Linode. Okay.
It really came in handy for me for my cloud hub. It's a radioless hub, and you can totally set it up that way, and it's a lot quicker.
Now, is it still required to run on BSD only in certain versions of BSD, or they fix that?
BSD. What's that acronym?
Linux. Yeah.
Yep. It's All-Star-Link is written.
It's what Debian's built off of, right?
Yeah. All-Star-Link 3 is built on Debian, and it'll run on 10, 11, 12, and they're almost completely done with the new Trixie version for Deb 13.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. They were totally on top of it the day of the release. So, but yeah, I use a 12 image for my cloud hub. And we moved to this new spot and I had to use T-Mobile home internet and I didn't want to do the IAX registration. It still wouldn't help me inbound because of the CG net. I would just hook up to my nub. I'd hook up to my hub and everybody else could connect to that and we could still communicate. It's no big deal. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And you guys going to want to throw in there? I've got a bunch more stuff I wanted to throw at Freddie, but didn't know if I wouldn't steal the show.
I guess
keep asking your questions.
Yeah, keep asking. I'm like a hands-on kind of learner, so I'm going to be playing around with it. Like I said, I'll probably be in my Jeep more than I'll be at work tomorrow.
All-Star-Link is a journey. It's its own universe for real.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be really cool, especially that you can, I'm thinking, I'm really, once I get to understand it more and use it, I'm going to really be pushing to put it on our club repeater.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have a lot of members now that are on another repeater that can't.
Exactly.
That can't get, they're in our club, they can't reach our repeater, so they're using this other repeater. But they'd love to get into our repeater because we do a nightly net. So it would be nice for them who can't reach the club repeater to be able to get onto the net, through All-Star. And I think that's going to be the way to convince the club that this is a necessity and not just a perk.
Sure. And there's a beautiful phone app out there as well for Apple devices that it's not available on the Android world yet.
Repeater.
It's called Repeater Phone. Yes, it's like
I know. I introduced that. It's $8 now. It was cheaper before. I don't know why they decided that they need to charge more for it, but
because they've seen an opportunity. I guarantee.
Literally.
Hey, a lot of people are buying this. We should raise the price.
It's funny. I did a review on the app and it was like free, and then all of a sudden it went to $2, and then it was $5, and it was like, what are they doing? They're not improving it's the old technology.
No, they just upping the price, man.
Yeah,
but you get the best of both worlds. You get All-Star-Link nodes and Echo-Link nodes.
Yep.
But the Echo-Link app is free, so go figure.
But you got a pretty interface.
You really do, and the audio that comes from your phone over All-Star-Link is even better.
Oh yeah,
yeah. This is
cool. So with that repeater phone, you can actually just get into nodes
all over the world
on your phone.
And if you have their call sign, you can search them up by call sign. You can search them up by node number. I don't know if it's geographic yet or not, but I always know, I'm like, golly, what's his name's node number? And I type in his call sign and boom, there it is. And if it's not active, I think it's either grayed out or doesn't come up at all.
Yeah, right.
Totally awesome.
I mean, look at $8 this day. That's like a specialized coffee. Like I went to Dunkin' Donuts and my brother's like, I'm like, oh, you want to get a coffee? He's like, yeah. And he orders some. He's from California. He orders some like caramel latte matcha. I'm like, what? Thing was like $6. I'm like, yeah, I just get black.
Yeah, just a little sugar in mine. I'm good.
Yeah. All good there. All right.
Yeah, no, but $8 is, maybe I'll get it and play around with it. We'll play around with the node first, and then I'll end up buying it. And you watch, it'll go up to $10, $15. Then it'll be
Sir, here is a check with my name on it. Write down any number on this piece of paper, and I will pay it.
That is Todd's mantra. That is literally Todd's mantra.
Oh, I'm sad to say I've been in that situation a few times.
We all do. It's sadly a reality.
It is.
I gotta go now work 2 nights. I do some overtime. Like, well, now it's 2 nights a week. I gotta buy a couple apps. I need another node.
So what would you recommend to someone? Obviously, so talking just kind of like, I mean, we're talking about nodes and we're talking about hardware and stuff like that, but there's obviously that whole connectivity concern of like connecting to nodes and who do you connect to and what do you connect to and some of those caveats. Any kind of recommendations you'd kind of get somebody involved so they got the device, they've done all the hard labor of getting things built and get connected, and they're like, okay, the proverbial now what?
Well, after you've got your node all set up and everything, the one thing that I do recommend is the Parrot node down in Texas. 55553 is their node number. And once you're connected, give it a few seconds and then just say, KD5FMU testing 1, 2, 3. And a voice will come back to you and say, your audio's too high or too low or just right. And then it will replay your audio back to you so you can hear it, right? And once you've done that, here's the most important part. Disconnect from that node before you connect to anyone else.
No, you're not going to recommend to connect to, what was it, East Coast Reflector or something like that?
Yeah, well, you want to get some emails, you connect to the East Coast Reflector while you're connected to the Parrot node. They will find you. These guys are worse than Teamsters.
Mm-hmm.
They will find
IRS. They will find you fast.
I tell you, though, I seen one time somebody had connected to the Parrot node and then connected to the UK HubNet and then connected to Jason's node in Texas. Oh. It was mass hysteria.
So maybe kind of explain that, because I think that's something most people don't get when they kind of start compiling this, hey, just keep adding and connecting.
Yeah, and nowadays they've got a feature in place from what I understand. I don't know if it's permanent or not. If you get connected to 200 nodes or more, they're going to put your node in receive only mode. And what they're trying to do is All-Star-Link in its core basis and setup will try its very best to avoid loopbacks. So it's like, I'm going to connect to my buddy James in Shawnee, but he's already connected to the node up in Tulsa, and I'm connected to the node in Tulsa. So when he tries to connect, it's going to reject him, most generally, because they're trying to avoid loopbacks. Totally. And it's kind of set up to do that way. But sometimes if my home node is bridged, and it is, I'll bridge to TGIF, the TGIF DMR talk group 756. That's my talk group. And if that private node in my All-Star-Link setup is connected to my public node, if you talk on DMR, you're talking on my node. But if that node is also connected to the HubNet, everybody's hearing what you say. So there's some possibilities of loopbacks there, but the software does a really good job of trying to prevent it. But you just want to make sure before you connect to somebody else. And if you want to connect to an individual's node, you want to be careful. It'd be nice to know ahead of time if they're okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm standing around my house one day, right after I retired, especially, and started the channel. Some guy from Canada connected right up, and we had a nice discussion. He just like, hey, thanks for ASL3 videos, all this other. And I connected to another gentleman out of Australia, and he was retired public servant as well. And we had an awesome discussion. I tell everybody, if I'm near the radio when you call in and I can talk to you, I'm going to answer you and we're going to talk. But there's folks out there that's just like, they have an All-Star-Link node and it's online, but they may not appreciate an incoming connection. So it's always, you kind of feel it out as it goes. But if it's like Jason's hub 43136, it's, if you like amateur radio, connect up to it. Mm-hmm. PSRG net, I think it's 2462 is their node number. Early on, they've got a small number. They're totally okay with it because they want to run. If that net's going to run 3 hours, they'll run it for 3 hours.
Here's a question for you. Like I have not been able to get a clear answer to this one. Maybe it's because I'm looking in the wrong places. But what's the difference between actually connecting to a node or monitoring? Like monitoring, and if I choose to monitor one node and then connect to say Jason's node and make that an outbound transceive kind of connection,
right?
does that monitor node that I have also hooked up to transmit audio through into Jason's node too, or how's that kind of work?
It should not. So if you connect to, let's say, some node in Florida and they're about to have a hurricane or something like that, and they've got a hurricane net going, and you connect to it and monitor only, you can't even PTT up over their node. You're just hearing it. And the rule of thumb is if you connect to someone else, when they key up, it should be just you that's hearing it. But I can't give you a 100% answer, but now I'm going to go and test that theory.
Please, because I had the problem where I connected. We had a All-Star node that was in listen only on our repeater, so they were just basically broadcasting or just monitoring the repeater input off of a Sherry connection that he had set up, and I had it as a monitor only connection, and then I connected to HR2's node, and they were hearing some of that traffic come through, and I was like, that shouldn't be that way. Monitor me is like listen only. Don't like send anything outside of my.
Well, what monitor does is prevent you from transmitting and your audio traveling over the network over their node. You're just monitoring their node. So whatever they put out comes over the network to you, and you can hear it. So
I would have to be a monitor on Jason's too. Then
that's correct. That's exactly correct. So anything that you're connected to and you receive would convey it as well if you're connected to them. So that makes sense. That actually does make sense. It kind of defeats the purpose a little bit, but you've just got to be diligent about what you're connecting to.
Right.
So basically, the best way to do it is connect to what node you want to be on. So like Jason's node.
Right.
And then if I want to go onto your node, I disconnect from his node and go onto your node.
Right. If for what they call good practices or good practice rules or what have you. But like Jason has several nodes, but they're not always active. But that 43136 is a designated hub because it's radioless. It's on the web.
Right.
So you don't have an issue with you connecting to it, but don't connect to the hub net or East Coast reflector and then connect to him because then everybody's talking and it turns into.
So if you're on the East Coast reflector and I'm connected to Jason, he's going to hear everyone on his is going to also hear the East Coast and vice versa.
It's one big network then, all full duplex. It's all back and forth. So and that's a great question.
So on my app, it says disconnect node.
So when you connect, it's called disconnect before or something?
Yeah. So it says disconnect
before connect. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like one of the. What does it say? Yeah, it just says disconnect. Disconnect is one of the options. Like before I go to another node.
Right.
So does that do that then automatically?
Yes. So if you've got that enabled, it's probably a default setting.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't. So
No,
the allscan.info dashboard it's a default setting for the allscan dashboard. It's the only one I've seen that way, but it's a good default setting. So if you connect to Jason, let's say, and it's connected for hours, and you forget that you're connected to him, and you thought, hey, I need to connect down in Louisiana to these other folks I know. When you go to connect to them, it will disconnect Jason and just connect you to them. It's a good little safeguard,
right?
If you're not conscious of it.
So if you're on that, then that would automatically, if you connect to another one, should disconnect.
Correct. Anything that you're connected to will get disconnected, and then your next connection will be the priority.
All right. Well, that's good to know because
that's a very good question.
Like I said, someone like me who's never used it, I start connecting to everyone's node. Like,
and it has happened, my friend.
And they'll be like, "Who's this WSTJ guy? Like, Jesus Christ, he's connected to the world."
Yeah,
repeater won't shut. My radio won't shut up. Everyone will be like a huge pile up.
And my first experience with All-Star was I was connecting to one of our club presidents at the time, his All-Star node. He was connected to the East Coast Reflector, and I didn't know he was connected to the East Coast Reflector, and then I was connecting to the East Coast Reflector, and you'd think I literally murdered somebody. The East Coast Reflectors guys had emails they were texting me, they were sending me, because I had signed up for all their newsletters. I mean, they were all over me, like, just connect, we've kicked your node off, do not reconnect, and then they send me their, 9-mile list of policies and everything.
Like white on rice.
All right, dude, sorry, I'm all good. Never do that again.
They are very, very, very diligent. Now, with all that said, I've connected to their to the East Coast Reflector some mornings. I was on the way into work and listened to some of their morning nets, and they're great. The great bunch of guys. I totally get why they're diligent about some things, but wow, they're very diligent.
And they know their nets are like, you think like you could hide and just listen. No, they know you're connected. They like, 431, blah, blah, blah. You should be, you said you wanted to chime into the net, go ahead and, you in out, it's like, well, I'm just here listening. Don't bother me. Can't hide with the All-Star.
Mm-mm. Especially if you key up and you're looking at the right Allmon or Supermon page, the last keyed up node goes to the top of the list.
I know. That's the awesome part is like, you cannot hide an All-Star. No more kerchunking, my friend. Kerchunking is a thing of the past. They are watching. Big Brother knows.
Yep. And it was a funny thing. I think it was last year, Jason's hub and my hub were connected. We were at Dayton, and I'm listening on mine. He's listening on his, and something keeps keying up. It's just really quick. But it was always followed with just a little burst of static. And we looked on his and mine Supermon pages, like the same station, it's keying it up. And we had to get someone else in contact with that particular guy because he had an issue with his node. He didn't know it.
Wow.
And I had this happen on my home node once. I didn't have a receive PL set. So I was getting some interference from a nearby station. And that little bit was breaking squelch just enough to key up my node.
Yeah, there you go.
And they're like, "Hey, what's up with your node? You just keep keying up and releasing." I'm like, I don't know. And then I looked and I had to program in the receive PL, and it totally knocked it out. So little things like that can create some havoc. You just got to be conscious of.
Well, and that's actually a good suggestion because I know people are like, "Oh, why don't I just use simplex?" It's like, because that's exactly the reason why you probably don't want to.
Interference. It's not like you're trying to keep anybody out. It's just you're trying to keep the crap out, the interference, because you drive under a power line or whatever, and you can get some kind of front end overload from whatever, and it'll key up your node. And heaven forbid it stay keyed up. Stranger things have happened.
It has. I mean, it's a fun technology for sure. I mean, like I am learning more, and I appreciate you coming on for sure and just like sharing some of your wisdom. And I got to go back now that the urgency or the interest, I should say, in building a headless node is on the radar now. I'm going to have to go back and watch. I'm going to have to fast forward through, obviously, the fumbling parts of, your video that you did with HR2O and stuff like that. And just get the highlights.
We'd never got his cloud node straightened up. It took like 3 or 4 live streams.
I slogged through both those videos and watched them live stream, and I'm like, dude, I don't ever want to put all stars.
It was funny because I convert my hub to ASL3, boom, no big deal. Well, his particular service had a specialized kernel in their Deb 12 software or operating system, and it wouldn't allow it. But once we got Jason N8EI involved, he's from All Starlink, dude, no big deal. It's just
I think he also bring in what's his name from M17 too. I think was the same thing they were kind of going through.
I want to say that's true.
Was that him? Was it? Yeah.
Well, Jason is N8EI is from All Starlink. Yeah. The other gentleman I want to say was from M17. I can't remember now.
I think it was Jason. He's up here in New Hampshire, so yeah. I bumped into him a couple of times, but yeah. Yeah, that's my only drawback right now. Not that I can't do it. I'm just like, I don't want to spend 8 to 12 hours building a server out for the recreational use and then have to maintain it. But, it sounds like it's definitely been improved upon. So I should be able to get through it without any too much effort.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about All Starlink 3 is and same with Ham VoIP, you can build your own private network series of nodes that are all private. They don't need All Starlink's registration server to function. It's built that way. You just can't use a node number, I don't think, that's above 2000.
Now, actually, that's a good question. What is there a whitelist blacklist feature capability built into ASL?
So glad you asked that, Eric. Because yes, there is, and it's a very wonderful thing. And it's sad to say that we have to have that feature in All Starlink, but there are some nefarious actors out there in the universe that like to do stupid and strange things. I mean, there's also accidental accidents, I guess you would say. I don't know, but there is an disallow list in ASL3 where if you have this particular node you have had problems with for whatever reason, it will keep them from connecting. But you can also set that up in a reverse where you can block everyone and only allow these.
Yeah. That the reason why that was in our conversations initially when people were like, well, everyone's going to connect to all of our repeaters and stuff. And I'm like, I'm sure there's some whitelisting system or a blacklist system that you can deny all and then allow, permit others to, where'd you go?
Yeah.
Rich? There you go.
If you want your circle to be small, then you're going to disallow everyone and include. But if you want to disallow a small group of folks, it's easier to do the disallow list.
That'll make it easier when we have to pitch it for the club.
Oh yeah, I mean, that was my biggest gripe with Echolink. I had an Echolink node at my home, and it was on a JPOL and VHF node, home node. I could hear it for miles and miles, and some non-English speaking country station would connect to it invariably for 2 seconds, and you had to listen to the connect, you had to listen to the disconnect, and then when they did hang around, they just spoke in a language you didn't understand. So
you'd be surprised. That happened to we had an Echolink node too as well, and like one night that just happened for 5 to 10 hours straight. There was this long conversation, and people were listening on the repeater and thought it was great, but after like the 5th hour, they're like, can someone go over to that person's house and pull the frickin', Echolink node off the radio? And then at that point, it just basically, all their curmudgeons came out and like, we can't have Echolink. Can we block blah, blah? It's like, all right, just pull it out. And at that point, it just was like, all right.
It got to be a little much. But
yeah. It was.
The principle of the whole thing was great, which I think is what probably prefaced Jim Dixon to create All-Star Link.
Glad you did. It's definitely well worth it. So, all right, you guys got any more questions? Because I think at this point, I'd say let's kind of wrap this up and put a little bow on this one and go from there. But you guys want to throw anything, or are you guys good?
Well, as he's talking, I'm messing around with my app and finding all kinds of cool things in there. So,
oh no,
can you come back next week? I'll have more questions for you.
Well, play with it a while. I'm always glad to come back as long as my schedule permits. Not a problem at all.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. It's been a pleasure, and
thank you for having me.
I've watched a lot of your YouTube stuff, and some of it I understand, some of them I don't. But I'm sure once I start playing with the All-Star, I'll have to go back and watch them again.
A lot of them will become evident as you progress. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I just gotta say, I mean, I greatly appreciate all the hard work that you put into your video series, because by the 6th time that I redid everything, I didn't even need the video anymore.
And that's the beauty of it. You got the routine in, and you're like, I know what to do here. I know what to do here, and you're jamming before you know it.
Yeah. So now I feel confident that I can get another USB dongle to add to another Pi, and I can get it up and running probably within an hour or so.
Yes. I've got a personal record of around 15 minutes.
I was going to say, you're almost on that 30-minute level, Paul. I am almost guarantee you could probably bang it out in 30 minutes or less.
And it all depends on how much you add, but I can get to a basic setup quicker than that, as long as I know the equipment that I'm working with, because I know what settings they use, et cetera, et cetera. But if you really want to get brave, and you're like, hey, I've got this old Motorola radio, or I've got this old ICOM radio, or this old Kenwood radio laying around, and you want to make an all-star node out of it, that's when you really start looking into sound fobs and building those into what we call a high power or long range all-star link node at your home, which a majority of mine are. But it takes a little more bravery, but once you do it, it's just like, it's no big deal. It's just no big deal.
There you go.
It just depends on how much range you want.
Well, I want all the range. That's
exactly. I do.
We're hams. Give me everything, my friend.
Exactly.
Can I run a kilowatt? Come on.
Legal limit all-star link node. Yes.
Screw the legal limit. I want my mother-in-law in Florida to be able to key up my node.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, the more efficient your antenna is, the better you're going to do. That's the name of the game with analog and all-star link.
Very cool. All right. Well, I think with that, if you guys have, and I'm sure we've just drummed up a boatload more of questions, and everybody's kind of like, okay, I want to get into this, but like now you're just like drowning in the sea of All-Star. You know where you need to go. It's simple as that. Head over to Freddie Mack's channel, Ham Radio Crusader. Start I think you got a playlist, right? That you've already built.
I do. I've got to tweak it a little bit, but look for a video. If you've never dove in it at all, look for the video that's called "How Do I Get a Node Number?" or "How Do I Get an All-Star Link Node Number?" That's the first step into All-Star Link Node, because you can't connect without a node number. It's free. You got to set up an account. They got to prove to them that you're a ham, which is super easy to do.
Yeah, it's way easier than Echolink.
Yep, and then they'll issue a node number, which will generally be 5 digits. If you plan on having more than one node, I would automatically expand that. So if your node number is 57788, they're going to expand upon that and then make that first node number 577880. Then the next one you can create 9 more after that, all on your own: 577881, 882, 883. And you've got more node numbers. But this video will explain that to you. And it's just basically look on my channel and look for "How do I get an All-Star Link node number?"
Cool. We'll throw that in the link description there so folks can grab it easy. And we'll share it up on the Discord, and people will have fast access to it. And so, okay. Yeah. So they'll start there, and you can definitely dive into, I'll have all the links that Freddie mentioned in tonight's show in the description there. So you can check out all those devices. And as always, as you can see, Freddie is a very friendly guy. He won't bite your head off. He won't tell you to go read the frickin' manual. He will actually help you along the way. I mean, the Grouch is a perfect example of that. He wants more people on All-Star. He wants to be able to, make it, a bigger, wider, huger network and get more people involved in it. So, yeah, feel free to ask him questions. I'm sure. Amen. He will help you out no matter what, no matter how simple or stupid the question might sound. Yep. He'll happily, do it with a smile and get it to you.
Oh, yeah. I'm totally not going to berate you or treat you like a 12-year-old or a sad ham or whatever. 58176 is my home node number. Like I said, if I'm where I can talk to you, I will talk to you. If I don't answer, don't take it personal. I don't have an answering machine, but you can shoot me an email, kd5fmu@gmail.com. or head on over to the Discord server. You can get that link from the YouTube page.
Very cool. Awesome. All right. Well, with that, it's been a blast. And so hopefully this has been an awesome, good start primer for you guys, because now as we've had conversations with 24-hour POTA and we've been talking more on the Discord, we're going to move that needle ahead, because we all want to talk. We all want to build a more bigger community. And, we're scattered about everywhere in the Northeast and even farther beyond. And so All-Stars are great solution for something like that. So keep an eye on for their Discord, and we'll have more on that. And I'm sure Freddie will be a part of that, because I know he's on our Discord. He's popped in from time to time. All the time. So feel free to chime in, Freddie, when we're spouting falsehoods and incorrect statements, and put us back on the right course there. So cool. All right. So as always, thanks again for everybody hanging out with our hanging out in our Live Free and Ham community. As always, we truly appreciate it. All of us, enjoy it. We thank you guys for help supporting the channel and being part of all the cool things that are going on, and we can't thank you guys enough. But you can always connect with us, and you can do that by heading over to our Discord. That link is in the description below and on our website. Come be part of the conversation. This one will pick back up and continue to have that discussion further. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, or you can head over and pick us up on any of your podcast players that you use, and we're on all of them. And you can always leave us a voicemail. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know if you have any questions from this episode at all by leaving us an SMS link, or you can email us, or better preferred, use our voicemail number at 978-233-1142. And you can always help support our show, like we always say, by heading over to our Patreon link, or you can do a one-time and buy us a beer or buy us a coffee. And as always, if you want to find out any more, check our back catalog out. We haven't made mention of this, but we're over 103 episodes now. So, we're cruising. We've been super psyched to see that, everyone's been listening to them. The numbers have been just crazy going through the roof. So hopefully you're enjoying the content. Let us know, please. So use all of our methods. Send us back some feedback, because we want to see how we're doing. And with that, you can head over to Live Free and Ham, pick out all of our latest swag and merch, and check out our contact info. if you want to reach out to us. And thanks again from all of us at Live Free and Ham and Freddie Mack at Ham Radio Crusader. And I'm going to say 7-3.
7-3, guys.
73.
77.